Dynasty buy or sell offseason edition, and today we have Jaylen Waddle, a guy that just acquired, his team just acquired one of the fastest guy in the NFL, Tyreek Hill. So what does that mean for Jaylen Waddle moving forward? Are you buying or selling? In 2021, over 140 targets, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, finished wide receiver 13. Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback here. This is going to be a very interesting offense moving forward. Zach, this is your boy. Jaylen Waddle, are you buying or selling, man?
By the way, this is going to be the quickest team in the NFL.
Actually,
Mostert, Waddle, Tyreek Hill. The speed on this team, wow. I'm excited to see what head coach is going to do there, McDaniels. But even in Madden, by the way, if you're playing Madden, it's broken. But I am buying Jaylen Waddle still. And honestly, the way I view the situation is beforehand, it was absolutely impossible to buy Jaylen Waddle in Dynasty communities who are aware of who he is. Now I feel like there's potentially a window that has opened up where you can now start to potentially explore trades with those owners who are worried about the arrival of Tyreek Hill. Let's just recap this historic rookie year, okay? Broke Anquan Bolden's record for the most receptions ever by a rookie wide receiver.
Right.
In the same amount of games. They both played 16 games, so he broke it in the same amount of games. Let's deep dive into these targets, because I'm going to talk about the target share. He had the 10th most targets amongst wide receivers, and I know everyone's probably going to be sitting there saying, well, who else were they going to throw to, bro? Like, who else was they going to throw to?
Yeah.
Because Parker was injured. Obviously, Waddle was going to get those targets. Okay. All right, I hear you. Well, let's compare some other wide receivers who had either the same amount of targets, or in a similar kind of sphere of targets, okay?
Right, okay.
Because basically what we want to find out here, Badake, is was he efficient with the targets that he was given? We can't always control the amount of targets, but was he efficient with them? Does it allude to the fact that there will be more targets on the way, right?
Okay.
So let's look at some wide receivers in a similar target range. Darnell Mooney had the same amount of targets as him with 140. He caught 58% of his targets. Okay. Brandon Cooks had 6 less targets than him at 134. He caught 67% of his targets. Terry McLaurin had 130 targets. He caught 59% of his targets. Jaylen Waddle caught 74% of his targets.
Right.
The efficiency was through the roof for Jaylen Waddle. If you threw him the ball more times than not, 74% of the time, he caught that ball. Darnell Mooney finishes as wide receiver 23, same amount of targets. Cooks, wide receiver 20. McLaurin, wide receiver 25. Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver 13 finish. 140 targets, 74% he caught. That is fantastic for a rookie. Actually, amongst the entire NFL, that is the 6th best true catch rate. Okay?
Right.
True catch rate being catchable targets divided by receptions. Okay? Did he catch the targets that he was, that were deemed catchable? Yes, he did. Had the 6th best rate in the NFL. He was also 10th in yak this year. And yak is a huge part of Jaylen Waddle's game. As a rookie, 10th in yak, that's quite impressive.
100%.
I mean, Jaylen Waddle's game is you either beat them downfield or you get the ball to him in space and let him win. And sure, a lot of Jaylen Waddle's production might have to do with Tua's play style. However, that is fine, because who is his quarterback? Tua. Who is the long-term quarterback there, in my opinion? It's Tua.
Right.
Okay, and let's talk about Tua. You might disagree. How does Tua thrive? Okay, how does Tua thrive? In the short to intermediate game. He is not Patrick Mahomes. He is not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to fling the ball downfield as far as he can. He's not going to be extending a bunch of plays like a Russell Wilson. Who do we keep comparing Tua to in the NFL? Back to his college days when he was coming into the NFL, even now, what is the quarterback that we all say, this is the upside, this is who Tua could be?
Right.
Drew Brees, okay? Friendly reminder, Drew Brees made a certain wide receiver very fantasy relevant based off of target share and the way that they played. And Michael Thomas, I don't know if you remember that guy. Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay. I've already discussed in depth as to why I am all in on Tua. And maybe if I remember in the editing process, I'll try and link a video somewhere so you can watch that video. But to me, he's already one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's not even an opinion. It's just based off of statistics. Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe you're sitting there and you're worried about Tua. While I am not, bet on the talent of Jaylen Waddle. If anything, this offseason has showed us that the wrong move is to bet on situations, because situations change in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Look at the NFL even 2 months ago and what it looks like right now. It is completely different. So if you're betting on Jaylen Waddle, then you shouldn't be worried so much about the situation, because even if you don't believe in Tua, if you truly think he's not the guy, then the situation can change in a heartbeat. And lastly, let's talk about the Tyreek Hill, situation.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, I think they can both succeed in the same offense. All right. They will clearly be the wide receiver 1A and 1B. And I believe that Tyreek is going to have to change his game more than Jaylen Waddle. Tyreek is more of the over-the-top type of player. And he also was a massive beneficiary of Patrick Mahomes' play style, where he could extend plays. Those off-routine plays, Tyreek Hill thrived off of those, okay? Whereas Jaylen Waddle already knows how to help Tua win. They're already on the same page. They already have that connection. So there's not going to be as many broken plays here. So Tyreek needs to adjust his game. And for me in Dynasty, in fantasy football, Tyreek is more affected than anyone else here in this situation. So I am okay with Tyreek being there. If anything, in my mind, I think about how the defense no longer can hone in on Waddle. I mean, let's be honest. Last year, every single game, it was Waddle's the guy we're stopping.
Yeah.
And somehow he still won. And now you have to look at, well, if we double Waddle, Tyreek is going to be wide open. So I think it's fantastic for the offense. I think this offense will be more efficient, more scoring opportunities, maybe less targets, but more efficiency.
Yeah.
So for me, I am absolutely buying Jaylen Waddle. I'll talk about what price I think it would take here in a second, but where do you sit on this?
Yeah, look, you hit the nail on the head, and I'm definitely buying. Okay, I think this is an easy buy. I think if you are struggling in the fantasy community to whether you should buy Jaylen Waddle, I think you should. And Zach is right. You should go get him now, because now people are worried about Tyreek Hill. Average 8.2 targets per game, 7th in receptions amongst wide receivers. And Zach said it, he was 10th in the yards per after the catch. That is crazy. Yep. I mean, go get the guy. I think he's going to be super efficient. And I know you are worried about Tyreek Hill. I'm not worried about that. This team gets better. The offensive line, they invest in Connor Williams and Teron Armstead.
That's a very good point.
And that is a huge opportunity for Tua to sit in the pocket a lot longer, to understand, and maybe for Jaylen Waddle to run his routes and Tyreek Hill to run his routes. It just makes things a lot easier. For Tyreek Hill, in my perspective, you're right.
That's actually really, really good perspective right there, because I didn't even think about that in this take, and maybe that's an oversight for me. But the fact that they were able to improve this offensive line, the offensive line was 32nd in the NFL last year, last in the entire league. So that's a very good point. That does help too in this passing game.
I won't be surprised if they draft somebody, an offensive line, because now they don't have a first this year or maybe a second this year. But I won't be surprised if they draft the first player they draft is an offensive lineman. Okay, maybe one of these down the field, down in the depth chart type of guys that can kind of develop and go from there.
Yeah.
But look, Tyreek Hill shouldn't worry you. At least I'm not worried. I was worried when he first got drafted or traded. I was like, damn. And then you sit back, you think about it. Tyreek is more of a stretch, and he's going to stretch the field. Can Tua throw the ball down that deep? We don't know yet. I don't think so. But I think a lot of defenses are going to focus on him because he is so fast and explosive. And if Tua is going to be extending these plays and stretching the field with his arm, he's going to have to take some shots sometimes, in my opinion. So I do believe there's going to be more focus on Tyreek. There's going to be a safety and a DB on him, in my opinion. That's going to be that needs to cover him. Every single person did it with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it was Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, but now it's Tua and Tyreek, and hopefully they are going to see Tyreek as the same threat there in Miami. So,
well, most of last year you had a cornerback on Waddle, and then you had the safety shadowing him. So it was but now on the opposite side of the field, You got someone who's even faster.
Exactly. And younger. So like it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. I do believe it could be it's going to suck, I think, at times. I think there's going to be days where Waddle's the guy and Tyreek's the guy, but I hope that's not the case. But I am still buying Jaylen Waddle.
Yep, I love it. Okay, let's talk about what a fair price to pay is then. So for me, is there any wide receiver in this class that I would prefer over Jaylen Waddle?
It is high right now.
Absolutely not. There is no one I would prefer as a wide receiver in this class. Mm-hmm. Now, you can argue, is Breece Hall worth more? I think at this point, we are projecting that he could turn into a top 5 running back, but we don't know that for sure. So you have to make that decision. But for me, I think people are less likely to give up the 101. So I'm probably going to be sending the 102 and a piece. That's what I think it would take to get Jaylen Waddle. The 102 and a nice piece to go get Waddle. There's also some wide receivers I would be willing to sell that I would prefer Waddle in my long-term future than these guys. Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. Now, I know this is controversial, and I know some people are going to be in the comments. You can't do that. You can't. These guys are fantastic. But I would easily send Cooper Kupp straight up for Jaylen Waddle. Easily. I would do that in a heartbeat. Same with Deebo, same with Diggs, same with Adams. So that's where my mind is.
Okay. I mean, I'm a little bit more hesitant on those. I need to really sit and think about all the Cooper Kupp. And I think I agree with Diggs and Samuels, but Cooper Kupp and Adams, I have to see how Adams goes this year. But I do agree. It's a high price for Jaylen Waddle. I think 101, 102 is going to be very interesting to see. I think the only way I get more comfortable with trading for a top at least 3 pick is once I understand where these guys go. So if Malik goes to a team that I believe in, hypothetically, I'm willing to do that if I know I'm going to get Malik with the 102 before, that happens, if you want to take the chance. But yeah, I completely agree. It's a high price. I'm willing to do a package as well for Jaylen Waddle. So agreed. Completely agreed.
All right. And in startup drafts, if you're doing startup drafts, I'm happy to take him anywhere in the late second to early third. So that's anywhere from the 210 to 306. Do you feel the same way?
I definitely agree. I think you can get him early. I think it's okay to get him early, especially if you're going to trade some of these guys away. Cooper Kupp, Stephon, or Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, they're going mid second. So I think it will be okay to take Waddle in a couple spots ahead of the 210 and stuff.
I agree. I'm not opposed to taking him earlier. The reason I said that is because that's where I think he will be.
He will go.
So I don't think that you would. Like, for example, if you're in a startup draft and you have like the 203 or the 202 and you want to trade back with someone, maybe you want to trade the 202 for the 210 and then get something else in the draft in return if Waddle's your target there. Because I think with the Tyreek arrival, Waddle's going to be easier to get in the late second. So that's why I kind of allude to that. Maybe it helps you with strategy, but it could change. Yeah. Like ADP could change in the next couple of months. But all right. Are you buying or selling Jaylen Waddle? Let us know in the comments below. I'm confident. I hope I linked that to a video so you can watch it. I don't know if I remembered, but let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.